that you saw. Now it's completely the other way. You're going to see about 40% of a base defense, even on first and second down, and you're seeing about 60-65% of. So the game's getting more spread out, more athletic. So it means you got to have more DBs. You got to spread the game out. It's not quite the college game, and I don't think we'll get there. But yeah, it has changed over the last few years because of the rules.
We talked about the first two picks, or what we anticipate those to be in Jared Goff and Carson Wentz. Can you describe the learning curve? I mean, as a guy, as an offensive mind, and a guy that understands what that's like. You've drafted first-round quarterbacks at Baltimore before, out of Cal.
Yeah. Turned out real well. That's why I'm sitting on a stage with you right now instead of still coaching.
I know exactly how that feels. I have a story to tell about that after, by the way. How patient do you have to be? Because you mentioned Jeff Fisher, in all likelihood, is going to push Jared Goff, who's coming out of a quote-unquote air raid offense where they throw it 50 times a game.
The league doesn't allow you to be patient anymore. In the old days, you'd bring a guy in, he'd mentor for 2 or 3 years with the veteran, then he could step in. The learning curve now, they've got to be able to step in, understanding there's going to be mistakes. You saw it last year with Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota. Not perfect by any stretch. But what I look for is the game too big for them? And it wasn't for those two. They're going to get better, and they're going to be good quarterbacks. Some guys, you recognize the game just gets big for them. The processing. I remember sitting with Tim Tebow about 3/4 of the way through this first season. I was doing a Denver game. And a great young man, you know, and we're talking about it. I said, well, how's it going? He goes, Coach, I swear to God, they got 12 guys on defense every snap.
It's not CFL.
It's just because it's a blur. You know, when you hear people, and you could probably speak to this better even than I can, but you hear quarterbacks talk about at some point the game slows down. Well, it doesn't really slow down. You just see it clear. It begins to make sense to you.
That's a great point. Now, I want to tell a story really quickly. There's a fan in the front that has a question. We'll go to this first, and then I'll tell you a great story about playing against him in a preseason game.
I was just wondering, do you think that Ezekiel Elliott is worth a top 5 pick given the past history of running backs not being taken in the first round?
That's the tough one, yeah. Is Ezekiel Elliott worthy of the 5th pick of the draft? Absolutely. He's a heck of a back. Now, having said that, and this has nothing to do with Ezekiel Elliott, because of what have been able to get over recent years in the 2nd, 3rd round in running backs, you look at guys coming out, Le'Veon Bell, Eddie Lacy, the list goes on and on. The question is, do I take a guy that I can get maybe value in that position? So what I'm saying is, it has nothing to do whether he's a good player or not. Is there better value in taking another position? He's worth of a top 5 pick. Would I be inclined to take someone else and take one of those good backs in the 2nd round? Probably, and that's probably where most teams are thinking.
It's hard to. You're right. It's such a hard position because LaDainian Tomlinson, I think, went 2 in my draft. Trent Richardson, I think, went 3.
Good example of that 50-50 rule.
Right. Yeah. Going back to that story we were talking about quarterbacks and their learning curves. My rookie year, I played for Steve Spurrier in Florida. I thought I knew everything about offense. We get to the preseason. We played the Jacksonville Jaguars in the 2nd game, Tom Coughlin, and he just decided that game it was going to be a big cover 2 zone on defense every play. He just wanted to see if his D-line could get off blocks, get to the quarterback. The picture was so vanilla. And in my 2nd preseason game, I think I went like 17 of 21 and threw a couple touchdowns. And I told my dad after the game, Dad, NFL is so easy. Like, this is it was so much harder in the SEC. Fast forward 2 weeks, playing against the Baltimore Ravens on the road. I think it was Coach Smith as the DC, and it was 3-4 defense. It was that radar look where you got like Terrell Suggs and dudes are like bouncing all over the place. And I had no idea who was blitzing me. I had no idea what the coverage was. I was throwing hot when I wasn't hot. I was getting drilled in the back of the head, balls coming out. And it was literally the worst football game I've ever played in my life. And it was a great wake-up call. It was like that, hey, rookie, welcome to the NFL moment.
You're not the only one. We had Eli Manning come in rookie year.
I was on that team.
and they put Eli in. Kurt was playing, and they
Eli had a 0.0 rating quarterback game, and I was right there on the sidelines.
I went over to Rex Ryan during that game because I had known Archie and Olivia Manning for a number of years, and it was ugly. And I went over to Rex, literally said, Rex, I don't want to have to call Archie and Olivia and tell them that we've killed their youngest son. Okay?
because it might have happened.
Back off just a
It might
little
have
bit.
happened. I want to talk about the deer in the headlights look.
Yeah, that was
Kurt Warner and I are on the sidelines, and Eli's coming off the field and just has this look on his face like, I have no idea. Deion Sanders is in the slot. Like, you know, it's like Deion was his nickel.
Yeah.
That's how good that
My
defense
fifth
was.
corner.
Yeah. And it was just like, it was unbelievable. But it just goes to show you, there's a long. I remember Eli's first practice in New York. It was the worst quarterback practice I'd ever seen in my life. We all thought we made a big mistake in the draft. 2 Super Bowls later, we found out. So I guess if you had to give, advice, if you could give advice to the players today.
Wow, when I do go around like the training camps, I get to for the network. I'll go to 3 or 4 training camps in the summer, which is great. Actually, last year I went to Pittsburgh.
Wow.
You imagine me in Pittsburgh,
I was going to say,
in Latrobe for 3 days. I've been given that rivalry. I remember there was a Holiday Inn or something that I was staying in, literally across the street, and I got in late at night, and I don't know where I'm at, and I'm going to go to a Pittsburgh Steelers practice. I get up in the morning, and it's one of those places where they have breakfast. You can do breakfast right there. I go downstairs. It was like a nightmare. Everybody had a Steeler jersey on. The people eating, the servers, the people behind the desk. It's like, my God, I just hide in the corner, hoping they don't know who I am. Had a great time, though. It was fabulous. But when I go around training camps, and sometimes the coaches will say, hey, would you speak to the team or whatever? And it's such a special, as you know, honor to be a part of the NFL. One of the things I try to get them to recognize is, even though it is a business, and you're there to obviously take care of yourself and your family and do all those things that you want to do, rule number 1 has to be, like doctors in the Hippocratic Oath, do no harm. You got to look at yourself as a teammate, and what I'm doing, because it's today in the Twitter sphere and texting and the players, sometimes they lose sight of the fact that because they're in the public eye, you got to realize, don't harm yourself, your teammates, or your organization. That should be at the forefront of your mind, and if you can do that, then you're going to hold on pretty good.
And what about for rookie head coaches that are entering their first NFL
I remember,
draft?
you spend your entire career, your entire life preparing yourself for this opportunity, getting mentored, all the different things you do to feel like, okay, I can do this job. You get one and you sit down and you realize, I have no clue what I'm doing. This is on-the-job training. Hardest thing for me was to recognize, I'm the head of the Baltimore Ravens organization, and that you used to be talking to someone and going, God, it'd be interesting to know what so-and-so's doing on 3rd down, and yada, yada, yada. And a day later, come back with reams and reams, like, you say it, they're going to do it. Where, to me it was just, oh, geez, this would be interesting. I didn't mean for anybody to go do something about it. And all of a sudden now they're coming back and they've spent thousands of dollars doing research and this, and the other, going, Coach said you wanted to know that, so we went out and did it. So yeah, it is a lot. It's great, but it is. You talk about quarterbacks. It's a steep learning curve for coaches as well, because you're dealing with the entire team, dealing with 14, 15, now 20, 25, 30 coaches, the organization as a whole, the players, just everything about it. You spend more time coaching coaches than you do coaching the players. There's a lot of levels to it.
Trial by fire, no doubt about it. We got Distro who's out in the crowd. We've got some more questions.